This morning, Senator Joe Manchin and Congressman Jim Clyburn were both on State of the Union on CNN. Again, at different times, of course, at two different interviews. And Senator Manchin gave some interesting statements about the Democratic Party, why he left, etc., etc. But Representative Clyburn had to put some reality, dump some reality onto Manchin because of his nostalgia for what he thought the Democratic Party was, should be, etc. I want you to listen to this and then we'll talk about it at the other side.
I left the Democrat Party because it's not the Democratic Party I grew up in that I always knew.
Yeah, for people who don't know, you left the Democratic Party, became an independent at the end of May.
At the end of May. And I've come to the conclusion this. I came from West Virginia, a little coal mining community of Farmington. And my parents, were lifelong Democrats and most of the people I knew. John Kennedy made a tremendous play through that in 1960 to win the election, to be president of the United States. And I watched the excitement. And we are totally encapsulated in ask not what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. And we're changing into society. How much more can my country do for me? Mm-hmm. That's not how I was raised. I was always fiscally responsible and socially compassionate. I never believed that government should be your provider. It should be your partner. And we always are willing to give people a helping hand, a hand up, not a continuous hand out, mm-hmm. Make them dependent. We've lost that, and I think we need to bring that back. For 80 years, my state of West Virginia was a solid blue state. What happened? One of my colleagues asked me, Joe, what happened to the West Virginia Democrats? I says, nothing. They want to know what happened to the Washington Democrats. Here's a little state of mine, West Virginia, who's done the heavy lifting in Appalachia. They mined the coal, made the steel, built the guns and ships, built the middle class, if you will. They're patriotic. They've shed more blood, lost more lives for the cause of freedom than any region of the country. They've given everything that they have. And now, all of a sudden, we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not green enough. My goodness, no one's given more than we have. Why did you leave them behind? That's what they believe. So I told my friend, that's the problem. You can't leave anybody behind.
I like Joe Manchin a whole lot. And Joe Manchin said this morning that this is not the Democratic Party of his father. And that is a great thing. Because I remember when my father got the right to vote or cast an effective vote here in South Carolina. It was not until 1948 that the Democratic Party opened itself up to African Americans. No, this is not the Democratic Party of my father, and that is a great thing. And so let's go forward with these improvements that we've been making in this party, opening this party up to everybody, and keep it open to everybody. So the process is there. And I think we ought to utilize that process and go to Chicago. And when we open on the 19th of August, do so on one accord.
First of all, I am so glad that Clyburn slapped back. Manchin thinks that this is not the party of his daddy. This is not the party of when I was young. This isn't the party of 80 years ago. This is a party, the people in West Virginia and Appalachia, they're asking the question. And that question is, we haven't stopped being Democrats. We haven't stopped. The Democrats just stopped being us. That's BS. And Clyburn did an excellent job of pointing that out. I don't want the Democratic Party to be the party of Joe Manchin's father or Clyburn's father, because that was a party that even makes what the Republican Party has become today. Well, we don't need to go there. But anyway, Manchin also in his commentary said some things that were rather silly. He claimed that the Democratic Party has become this party of people who are asking what the country can do for them instead of what they can do for the country. He also said that that what he wants is a party that gives people a hands up but not hands out. He also claims that Biden failed, that Biden did very well, but that somehow the party fails at several things. So let's clean this up perfectly. First of all, America is not a country where the people sit back and depend on the government. Where the people need the government is because of what the wealthy has told the government to do, and where the wealthy, along with the government, has failed. Let's be clear here. America has a very, very small, very, very wealthy class. They didn't get wealthy on what they did. They didn't get wealthy on their intellect. They didn't get wealthy on what they produced or the services that they provided. They got wealthy on the backs of every single one of the people that Manchin called dependents. That Manchin pretty much said they are loafers. That's who the wealthy has created their wealth from. Let's be clear here. You get up every morning around this country, go to the bus stops, look at the freeways. These are people in America, the vast majority of Americans, going like hell to work. They're working their asses off. And why are they doing that? They're doing that because more and more they have to work a lot more as they get a smaller piece of the pie. There's only one class here that can be considered a parasite, or that can be considered parasites. And those are the wealthy folks who don't want to pay taxes, who don't want to invest in lifting the people up who have actually made them wealthy. As I stated so many times, we are still in the realms or in the reign of slavery, slave and master. The only difference is that the corporations and the wealthy has learned to do it in a more antiseptic manner, in a very more antiseptic manner. And Manchin should know better. He is the one who decided that he was not going to support the massive program to really start to bring the middle class up, to bring some recovery to the middle class that the wealthy has stolen since Reagan inception. Actually, it's before that, but Reagan put it on steroids. Let's not fall for the okadoke. Let's not fall for the belief that Democrats are out there trying to make America a dependent country, a country where the people are always sucking on the government. There's only one class that makes massive amounts of money from the government through subsidies, through lack of paying their fair share in taxes, and all of that. And that is a wealthy class. And until you can incorporate that in your mind and understand the reality of how economics work, you will continue to buy the trope that somehow most Americans want to be sucking on the government, which is a fallacy. Go out the door every day, go to a restaurant, go to a store, go everywhere that you want to go, and you find the American people working. Most people work. The wealthy are cared for. Don't ever sit back and believe, oh, the wealthy does something that makes them earn the billions that they have, when it is done on your intellect. It's you who go to work and build the factories. It's you who go to work and make the canned goods. It's you who go to work and create the cars. It's you who go to work and do all these things, yet they tell you that you are somehow less than, and that wealthy person who has somebody serving him or her day after day, that they're the creators and they're the job creators. They're the ones that do things. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Folks, we got to assert our worth. We have to let them know we know what we are. We know who we are, and we know who actually produces things. We got to stop it. We got to wake up, and we have to stop having them put the split between Appalachia and the ghettos and the barrios and the people. We got to get out of that. We should be working together for those who really made this country what it is today. It is not the wealthy. It is not the rich. It is not the billionaire. And until we get it in our mind, until we get the pride in ourselves, until we believe the truth of who and what we are, Manchin would continue to be able to say the stupidity that you just heard, that somehow we are dependent, somehow the Democratic Party has of 80 years ago is gone. Yes, I'm glad the Democratic of 80 years ago is gone, and now we have a party that says we believe in bringing equity, we believe in equal access to success. That's who we are, and that's who we shall remain. And there's nothing we're going to allow this sycophancy for the wealthy to change. So, middle class, working class, if you know what's the right thing to do to ensure these policies support you, you better go for a ticket that's not trying to minimize who you are, but that is trying to enhance who you are and have the capacity to be.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.